If you're lying awake right now, staring at the ceiling, doing math on how many hours of sleep you'll get if you fall asleep in the next 5 minutes, stay with me for the next 10, because by the end of this video, you'll have 5 techniques that can get you from wide awake to asleep in under 20 minutes. And the last one was originally designed for fighter pilots who needed to sleep sitting upright, in noise, in danger, on command. If it works for them, it will work for you in your bed. I'm going to walk you through each method the way I'd walk a patient through it in clinic, what's actually happening in your body, and exactly how to do it tonight. Here's why this matters more after 60 than it did at 30. Your sleep architecture changes with age. You spend less time in deep, slow wave sleep and more time in the lighter stages, which means you wake up more easily and more often. Your body also produces less melatonin than it used to, and the timing of your internal clock shifts earlier, which is part of why so many people over 60 feel wide awake at 11 at night, but foggy trying to fall asleep before that. None of this means good sleep is out of reach. It means the strategies you use need to work with your physiology instead of against it. That's exactly what these 5 do. Let's start with the first one, because it's the foundation everything else builds on. Method 1. Lower your core temperature on purpose. Your body has to drop its core temperature by about 1 to 2 degrees to initiate sleep. This is one of the strongest signals your brain uses to decide it's time to shut down. It's why you've probably noticed you sleep worse on hot nights and better in a cool room. The trick isn't just turning down the thermostat, it's using a warm shower or bath about 90 minutes before bed to trigger something called vasodilation. When you warm your skin, blood vessels near the surface widen and blood rushes to your hands and feet, and as that heat radiates away from your body afterward, your core temperature drops faster and further than it would have on its own. You're essentially borrowing a physiological shortcut. Try this tonight. Take a warm shower 90 minutes before you want to be asleep, then keep your bedroom between 65 and 68 degrees. If a full shower isn't practical, even warm water on your hands and feet for 5 minutes creates enough of the same effect to help. Method 2. Progressive muscle relaxation. As we get older, a lot of us carry tension in the body without even noticing it anymore. It becomes the new normal. Progressive muscle relaxation works by deliberately tensing a muscle group hard for 5 seconds, then releasing it completely. That contrast is the key. When you release tension after tightening it, the muscle relaxes to a deeper level than if you just tried to relax it directly. And this signals your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest system, to take over from the sympathetic fight or flight system that keeps you alert. Here's how to do it lying in bed. Start with your feet. Curl your toes tightly for 5 seconds, then let go and notice the release. Move to your calves, tense for 5 seconds, release. Then your thighs, your glutes, your abdomen, your hands, your forearms, your shoulders, and finally your face and jaw. Work slowly up your whole body, one group at a time. By the time you reach the top, most people are already drifting because you've physically taught your nervous system that it's safe to power down. Method 3. The 4-7-8 breathing pattern. Your breath is one of the only automatic functions in your body you can consciously override, and that makes it one of the most powerful tools you have for shifting your nervous system's state on demand. The 4-7-8 pattern works by extending your exhale well past your inhale, and a longer exhale specifically activates the vagus nerve, which runs from your brainstem down through your chest and abdomen and is the main highway of your parasympathetic system. Slow that exhale down and you slow your heart rate, lower your blood pressure, and quiet the alert signals in your brain. Here's the pattern. Breathe in quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7. Then exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8, making a soft whoosh sound as the air leaves. That's one cycle. Do 4 cycles the first time you try it, and you can build up to 8 as it gets more comfortable. If holding for 7 feels like a stretch at first, that's completely normal. Shorten the hold slightly and keep the ratio, because it's the extended exhale that's doing most of the work. Method 4.
cognitive shuffling. If your mind is the problem, if your body's tired but your brain won't stop replaying conversations or planning tomorrow, this one's for you. Cognitive shuffling works by interrupting linear, goal-directed thought, which is what keeps your brain in an alert, problem-solving mode. Worrying about falling asleep or thinking through your to-do list is structured and structured sequential thinking is exactly the kind of activity that keeps the brain's alerting networks engaged. Random, disconnected, image-based thinking does the opposite. It mimics the natural mental drift that happens right before sleep onset anyway. Here's how you do it. Pick a random neutral word, something like lamp. Then think of a word that starts with each letter, one at a time, and for every word, picture it briefly in your mind. L, leaf, picture a leaf. A, apple, picture an apple. M, mountain, picture a mountain. P, pillow, picture a pillow. Once you finish a word, pick a new random word and start again. The goal isn't to complete anything or make sense of it. It's to keep your mind wandering through disconnected images instead of chasing a worry in a straight line. Most people don't make it through more than 2 or 3 words before they're asleep.
Method 5. The military method. This is the one you came here for, and it earns its reputation. It was developed for the U.S. Navy's pre-flight school during the Second World War, when researchers found that pilots were making costly errors because exhaustion was catching up with them faster than combat could. Physiologist Bud Winter helped train pilots to fall asleep in under 2 minutes, in a cockpit with engine noise before a mission. If it can override that much stress and stimulation, a quiet bedroom is nothing by comparison. The method works because it combines everything you just learned into one sequence: physical relaxation, breath control, and shutting down linear thought, stacked together instead of used one at a time. Here's exactly how to do it. Start by relaxing every muscle in your face, your forehead, your eyelids, your jaw, even your tongue. Let it all go slack. Then, drop your shoulders as far down and away from your ears as you can, and let that relaxation flow down through your upper arms, then your forearms, one side at a time. Exhale and relax your chest. Then move down through your legs, starting with your thighs and working down through your calves to your feet, releasing each section as you go. Once your body is fully relaxed, clear your mind for 10 seconds by picturing one of 2 things. Either you're lying in a canoe on a calm lake with nothing but clear blue sky above you, or you're lying in a black velvet hammock in a completely dark room. If either of those images slips and a thought creeps in, don't fight it. Just say the words "don't think" to yourself and let the image come back. That's the whole method. With practice, most people report falling asleep within 2 minutes. That word practice matters, so let's be honest about it. Researchers who studied this method with pilots found it took about 6 weeks of nightly repetition before it worked reliably at that 2-minute speed. The first few nights, you're just training the sequence. Don't judge it on night 1. Judge it on week 3. Now, how do you actually use these 5 together instead of feeling like you need to pick just one? Think of it as a funnel. Start 90 minutes out with the warm shower to begin dropping your core temperature. Once you're in bed, run through progressive muscle relaxation to release physical tension. Layer in 4-7-8 breathing to shift your nervous system into rest mode. If your mind is still active after that, switch to cognitive shuffling to break the pattern of linear worry. And if you want the fastest, most streamlined version once you've built the habit, the military method rolls the physical and mental steps into one 2-minute sequence you can use every single night, including the nights when none of the slower methods feel like they have time to work. One more thing worth knowing, because it changes how you should think about the occasional bad night. Waking up briefly during the night is not by itself a sign that something is wrong. Lighter sleep stages and brief awakenings become more common with age, and most people don't even remember them the next morning. What actually disrupts sleep quality is the stress response you have about being awake, the racing thoughts about tomorrow, the glance at the clock, the frustration. That stress response releases cortisol, and cortisol is directly antagonistic to the processes that pull you back into sleep.
So, if you wake at 3 a.m., the goal isn't to force yourself back to sleep through sheer will. It's to run one of these 5 techniques again calmly, the same way you would at the start of the night. Your body doesn't know the difference between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. It just needs the same signals. If you try all 5, you'll probably notice 1 or 2 work faster for your particular mind and body than the others, and that's completely normal. Some people are more responsive to the temperature shift, others to the breathing, others to the mental imagery in the military method. Give each one a real week before you decide, because your nervous system needs repetition to learn a new pattern. That's true at any age, especially true when you're working against decades of established habits. You've now got 5 techniques backed by real physiology that you can start using tonight. Not someday, not once you buy a new mattress or fix every other thing in your life, but tonight, in the bed you already have. If this helped you, share it with someone in your life who's been struggling to fall asleep, because chances are you know at least one person who needs to hear this. And I want to know, which of these 5 are you going to try first? The warm shower, the muscle relaxation, the breathing, the cognitive shuffle, or the military method? Drop it in the comments because I read every one of them. I'll see you in the next video.